Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Moving up with the Miclettes.
Moving on up.
And I'm feeling your earrings.
Cute.
Of course, we planned our outfit today. We're twinning.
No, we didn't. I got dressed first, so it didn't happen like that.
I've been wearing this shirt since 7:30 this morning.
Yeah, and I got up at what time? I got up at like 6:15. So, and you seen what I had on.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So that's the real reality of having a YouTube channel. Is sometimes you plan on recording at 5:30, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, and you don't get around to do it until 9 o'clock. When you're still wearing the same clothes you've had on all day.
Dang, like telling all our business though.
But that's the reality. Like that's
okay.
They need to know.
Okay.
They need to know. And we have a great episode on tap for y'all today. What are we talking about?
Sinking funds.
Sinking funds.
So this basically just a quick sinking fund update in regards to our sinking funds. And with everything going on, you know, things come up unexpectedly. And we just wanted to talk about basically how they're beneficial to you and, you know, just talk about how the sinking funds that we currently have and what we've replaced or what we've added and just how much they work for our life.
Yeah. Now, before we get into those details, we have to ask the question first off. What are sinking funds? What are sinking funds? So, sinking funds are accounts in which you have money already saved up for not emergencies, but things that come on a regular basis. For example, birthdays. You know when those birthdays are. Holidays. You know they fall on the same day every calendar year.
Mm-hmm.
But then there are things that you may not be expecting, but you have money stored away. For example, car maintenance, home maintenance, things that you know you probably need to put money aside for in the event when it needs to be done, like maybe an oil change. Or perhaps brand new tires on your vehicles, right? Or maybe the lights went out and you need brand new lights, like 2 or 3 or 4 or 10 of them. So you...
I mean, you got a big rig? What kind of car are you driving?
Or maybe lights at home in which all of your kitchen lights gone out.
Every single one. So you're just in the dark.
So sinking funds are accounts in which you have money saved up for those necessities. And again, it's not an emergency fund, right? These are things that happen on a regular basis, or they are monies that you have stored away for things that you think you're going to need for.
So why are they beneficial? Basically, if you're prepared for something, you're not going to go scrambling around, you know, trying to find money to pay for a certain bill or anything like that. Mm-hmm. You already have it because you've been saving up for it for a certain amount of months or however long you've been saving up for that particular item. And it's just, you have that money right there for you. It also just makes life easier. So, for example, we got a $654 dental bill. Damn. Yeah. That was something we were not prepared for. And granted, we do have the money for it in our regular savings account. The point is, if that was something we would have known in advance, we could have budgeted and prepared for it and saved up for that throughout the year. Yeah. So it's not something that, you know, kind of hurts when it comes out when you're like, oh, it's unexpected. Yeah. But, you know, more so things like car registration, car repair, maintenance, things like that. Birthdays, Halloween, like you said before. That's something you can save up for throughout the months and be prepared for.
Yeah.
So how do you contribute to your sinking funds? Either you can determine the amount that is necessary to pay the bill and then divide by that number of months up until the bill is due for the payment that you should be putting in per month. Mm-hmm. So, for example, we know Christmas comes around every year and Christmas is in December. So if you start in January and say you want to start shopping by November, that's 11 months. So if you want to have $1,000 for Christmas, that's $1,000 divided by 11 months. And then that's how much you would be putting in per month to make sure you reach your goal of $1,000 by November. And then you have your Christmas money. And so by the time Christmas comes around, you're not stressing like, oh, it's the holidays, I don't have any money. Yep. but you do, because you've been budgeting that money and putting it away for the past 11 months. Mm-hmm. And the same thing would go for car maintenance. You're going to have oil changes, and you're going to have tires, like you said, and those can kind of run a little pretty penny. Yep. So if you're just putting $200 a month into your sinking fund for that particular item, then you have your money.
Or that your car registration is due every August times 2. Mm-hmm. So you have 2 vehicles that you have to account for, and how much that you need to distribute each month, just to make sure that by August of each year, you have that amount.
Correct. And you could also, the other way is just adding a certain amount of money, whether it's $100 a month, $75 a month, or whatever amount that you feel comfortable and that is within your budget, just putting that aside for that particular thing. Even if you don't have the full amount, as long as you have a portion of it, that's still more than nothing. And that's still something that's going to be able to help you, when you go to pay your bill.
Yeah. And something is better than nothing, right? And that's going to help relieve a little bit of stress when you know that you have some money as opposed to no money saved up for that expense. So where do you keep your money? Where do you keep your sinking funds? Do you put them under the mattress? Do you put it in an envelope? Do you put them in a shoebox? Do you put it under the house? Where do you put your money?
I hope you don't put it under the house.
Hey, but you never know, right? So there's a few things that you can do, right? Maybe you do put it in a safe place that only you know about. And because only you know about it, you also have to be disciplined and not tap into that whenever you need some spending money, right? So you need to remind yourself that it is with a purpose. So go ahead and put that somewhere where you know is safe, but is also going to be accounted for when you need it. Or you can put it in a high yield account or a high yield savings account like we do. And so we know that not only is that money put away somewhere safe, but it's also put away gaining interest, right? And that's a key. So you want to make sure that you're gaining interest on that money. Yeah. Now, the high yield interest account, that is the key, right? So we've talked about it in the past on our channel, where you might as well put money in a shoebox if you have it in a savings account, in which is getting almost nothing in return on interest. But if you can find yourself an account in which you gain a very high return on interest, that might be somewhere where you're going to want to put your money.
Now, take into account, when we're talking about high yield savings accounts, right now there's not many high yield savings accounts. So true. Just find the one the highest that you can potentially find, and either you can put your money there and kind of keep track of each allocated item that you have, kind of like I do on a spreadsheet. So I know exactly what's coming in, I know what's going out, and I'll deduct and add, do whatever needs to be done when money comes out.
And just make sure that whatever high yield interest account that is, you don't get penalized for withdrawing money, because you want to make sure that your banking institution doesn't penalize you for withdrawing money from that account. So that's another little thing that you need to think about. Don't just put it in any high yield interest account, because you want to make sure you have access to that money, right? It has to be liquid. You have to be able to access that money.
Yeah, and since most accounts you can withdraw probably around 6 times a month, just, take mention of that. So since our first sinking fund video, we've added a few new sinking funds, and they've only seemed to make things a little bit easier for us the longer we've had them. Yeah. So when we first started, we only had 4 sinking funds. It was 40th birthday, 15-year anniversary. It was birthdays, because they're separate, okay, because my 40th is a big deal. It's car maintenance, and it was Christmas. So since the whole starting of that, we added Halloween, because we're a big Halloween family. Yeah. And we know that we kind of spend a lot bit, I should say, during Halloween. We've also added a dog fund, because at some point we do know that we want a dog, and they're not cheap. That dog food, them shots. Apparently we're probably gonna have to get some pet insurance and all that.
And just the price of the dog by itself.
Yes. And then we've also added home. Also, there's one more that we added. Oh, at a certain point in the year, we also add school shopping. So all of the funds, they're not necessarily at the same time. Like the school shopping is at the beginning of the year for the first 6 months, and then we kind of stop paying on that. Halloween kind of starts beginning of the year, and we go until we start shopping around August. We shop early. So, but, you know, we don't put the same amounts. Some of them have a little bit more. Some of them we add a little bit less, but it just depends on the goal that we have for those particular sinking funds. So once again, those are kind of our standard sinking funds. We don't necessarily add to all of them at the same time. Some of them we do beginning of the year, some more towards the end, and some all throughout the year. But basically, at the end of the day, these are things that contribute to our life, and they add. They're such a benefit to us because, once again, we're not scrambling. We're less stressed and worrying about where the money for that is going to come from, because we already know, you know, that's being taken care of on the back end. That's something we don't even have to worry about or stress over.
So our sinking funds have definitely helped, and it feels great to know that we have money that is already allocated to an expense that we either already know is coming or comes unexpectedly, like that dental bill. So hopefully you will take a look at your future bills, or maybe even regular recurring yearly events like birthdays, holidays, so forth and so on. You have parties that you're planning for somebody, something special, or maybe, again, just a bill that you can expect at a certain time. And think about how you can be prepared. Think about how you can allocate for the future, which again is going to reduce a lot of your stress.
So thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed and liked this video, make sure you hit that thumbs up button. Drop a comment below and let us know, you know, what your sinking funds are, or if you plan to start some sinking funds at the beginning of the year, and what those potentially will be. And once again, like always, keep moving up with the Miclettes.